Okay, so you guys are in Florida doing what you do, and then in 1985, Paul Castellano gets killed.
Yeah.
And then John Gotti takes over as the boss, and John, of course, has a role in that killing. How did that change the dynamics with your dad and you and so forth?
So my father was in prison at the time. So when before my father went to prison in Florida, he was doing real well. He got, Paul Castellano sent this guy down there, Tommy Agro, to help, to do some stuff. And he asked my father to help him, and my father did, and my father got arrested, and he got 40 years, my father. So Tony Lee, his partner, and my father were very close with John prior to that. They knew John since he was a little kid. So in '85, when Paul got clipped, Tony Lee was involved in the whole planning of it. And my father was not surprised, but he was impressed with the way the whole hit went down. And how it affected us was Tony Lee started doing much better. You know, he was in a good position. John was the boss now. We were all very close to him. He was, you know, I was close to him. You know, things got better for us as far as financial things, and you know, he liked me. He always looked out for me. And I remember after the hit, my father was dying to know what happened, and because he was in prison. And Tony Lee and myself went up to visit my father, and Tony Lee told him how the whole hit went down, and he was impressed. He said, you know, he said that was the best way to do it. You know, daylight. You know, nobody expected it. Right out in the open, because my father throughout the years always predicted three things, because John was a flashy guy. So my father always predicted that only three things were going to happen to John Gotti. Either he was going to go to jail for 100 years, he was going to get shot in the head, or he was going to become the boss. So three of those things, two out of three things happened. He became the boss, and he died in prison. So his prediction partially came true.
Well, I guess before your dad got arrested, he actually went on the run for a while and like grew his beard out and joined the Hells Angels.
Yeah. Well, not the hell. So what happened was when they came to arrest my father for some crazy reason, I don't know why, they raided my mother's house in Ozone Park. First, they thought he was there. And when they raided my mother's house in Ozone Park, she called me and Tony Lee up right away. And I was with Tony Lee in the club. And she said the FBI just raided the house. So I called up my father in Florida and I said, listen, the FBI just raided Mommy's house. You better get out of there. So he hung up the phone and he left. And he went on the lam. And what happened was, it wasn't a Hells Angels club. It was a motorcycle gang, had a clubhouse right where near he was living. And he grew a beard and he would go in there and hang out and drink. And they sort of knew, nobody bothered him. They sort of knew something was going on with him, so they would like just leave him alone, and he would go in there and sit in a corner and drink, and we would go down there, sneak down there, and we would meet him, and he sort of like blended in with them. But he, you know, and he grew a beard, and he grew his hair long, and he would wear a hat, and they sort of just left him alone.